When I was little, I said two of the things I wanted to do when I grew up is play in an orchestra and to run a marathon.
I think I got my first violin when I was 4. I wanted to play like my grandfather.
In 7th grade, our music teacher asked us to select a list of instruments we'd like to play, and the clarinet was on there somewhere, and I was assigned it, and I'm still playing it today.
I love how the violin is the closest to the human voice, and I really love the sound of singers, and I think that's why I really gravitated towards violin.
I started out as a pianist when I was a child. I grew up in a city where there was an orchestra, a full-time professional orchestra, and this was Hamilton, and I used to sneak into rehearsals there, and I was very enthused about music, and at a very early age, I'd say I was 9, I decided that I have to be a conductor, not knowing anything about what goes into conducting. Okay, Tchaikovsky. Start from the beginning. I came and worked with the Peterborough Symphony and saw enormous potential in this city for music making. And in order for this community to grow musically, what we really badly needed was a youth orchestra, and there was none at the time. I like to think of Peterborough as being a regional capital because we're in the region of the Kawartha region. And we now have around 150,000 people living in this area, and it's growing all year by year. It's a city that has a very strong cultural backbone to it. Of course, sports plays a very major role, and there's a university here. There are art galleries. There are so many theater companies here that it's hard to count them. And of course we have the outdoors, which is a really strong aspect of where we live. But if the cultural fabric of our city is going to be in place, then we need to have music being made, and all kinds of different music. And included in that is orchestra music. And so we have a number of young people here that play orchestral instruments, and they didn't have anywhere to play. I'm leading you down the garden path, and you followed me, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Let's try it again. Okay. Keep the forte going a little bit longer. It's a little bit too fast of a decrescendo at the beginning. After being hired as the music director of the Peterborough Symphony, I began talking to Ben Bell, who was the principal bassoon in the symphony, who had a desire for years to form a youth orchestra here in Peterborough. Now, Ben and I had known each other for many, many years. We went to school together, and we played in the National Youth Orchestra together in the summers. And so there was this common bond and shared experience of being in a really top-flight youth orchestra, and could we do something that would replicate that atmosphere here in Peterborough?
The orchestra is performing at an extremely high level, with the very high standards Michael sets, with the high standards of musicianship that all the coaches aspire to. Witold's coaching, it's incredible.
Okay, just the first violin, please. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go.
Witold, having just his string group, was definitely the basis. Without that, there would be no chance of having an orchestra.
Okay, that's very good. You need to have, in the descending sequence, you need to have fingers ready on the string before you...
I was always fascinated by chamber music and symphonic music. I wanted to play violin ever since I remember anything. And I discovered my true love, teaching, even though I performed a lot in my life. I think I have a special connection to young people, and I'm able to convey to them all the not only musical musical things, musical aspects, but also a lot of technical stuff, which is extremely important in creating an orchestra.
Hear the top note. Very good. Now what do we do with the top note? Other than playing it in tune? Vibrate. Vibrate actually throughout the whole thing, but as you do crescendo at the top. Dum, bim, bum, bum. So the top notes will be really well vibrated. Again, the same tempo, and then we do faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, go. More impulse from the finger. Yes.
I think it's very important to have this orchestra because it encourages young people to do something that in many cases is almost a lost art. You know, considering internet and video games and everything that we have, this is one of the very few things that you have to do yourself and you can't buy it. You have to work at it really, really hard.
Practice. Practice, practice. When I'm playing, I'm thinking about getting the next note right and the next notes and the next bars and concentrating on the music, and occasionally I wander off in thought, but I try not to. Practice. Practice, practice.
That's really challenging, keeping up practice time. So you just have to learn to prioritize, to schedule your time, use it wisely, and when you are practicing, to practice efficiently, but to still make it enjoyable.
Relax here, and drop the jaw, okay?
Being a member of the Kawartha Youth Orchestra is fun. You get to know the people in your section really well, and you have jokes that go on week from week. It's been really encouraging, and so you can pick up tips from other people that you're playing with and learn more about their instruments and how their instruments fit into the orchestra.
Practice. Practice, practice.
I think it's more like a zone kind of when you play. The music kind of flows through you and you express it with your instrument, and I think that's so true. You use so many parts of your brain. Like, I think people don't imagine how much actual concentration is needed to play an instrument, but also just the expressing of the music too.
Practice. Practice, practice.
It's such a versatile instrument. It's got a range of dynamics and pitches and sound qualities that virtually none of the other instruments can match. Well, the music's really enriching. It's another step up from sort of the school band or the solo instrument, because you're not just playing arrangements of these pieces. You're getting the real thing that, you know, Tchaikovsky wrote, or whoever you're playing. You're getting the great moments and great sounds, and of course, Michael, the conductor, is just fabulously professional and musical.
Michael. Sometimes he can his temper kind of takes over a bit, but I mean, what else do you expect? All he wants is us to play the best that we possibly can.
Late, you're not ready. You can't, oh, it's fortissimo now, you know, it's too late. It's happened.
Well, at the beginning of the year, he was the meanest man I knew. I noticed a change over the year. Generally, he's very humorous and fun to work with, and he has crazy hair.
Michael is perhaps the fieriest man I have ever met. He is not unlikely to jump up and down in the middle of the piece, or wave his arms in the air, stomp his feet, turn in circles. You never know what he's going to do next. But he studied music in Europe, and he knows this stuff like it's his life, and it is his life. And he conveys such a sense of loving this music, and it's impossible not to when he's around.
I want anybody who's going to be in an orchestra to be thinking primarily about the achievement of excellence and whether they're going to be professional musicians or not, expecting the highest results that are possible. Now, of course, always in the back of anybody's mind, we realize that we're only going to get to a certain place. And I think for young people, it's important to remember what it was like to be young, and it's important to have a certain sense of humor at the rehearsals. But I think that's important everywhere. I can kid around with these people here in the Kawartha Youth Orchestra in a particular way because I've been there for a long time and I know the kids. So I like to think that we have a fairly direct relationship. But at the same time, I think that they really understand that I'm not their friend. Do I sing, I love you, or do I sing, I love you? What's the better way? You don't have to answer that. He doesn't go, he goes, da, ya, da, 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 da. So, let's do the same thing once again. Right at number 2. Sounds good. And then it's dum, what do you do? Is it on one bow?
No, I got 2 bows.
2 bows, and it's 16th notes, right? Not tremolo. Okay. Same thing, number 2, okay? Careful the intonation of the cellos. 2, 3, 4.
I live in Madoc. It's about an hour's drive from Peterborough. Rain or shine, winter or summer, I've got to get to the rehearsals, the concerts. When it's cold, I wrap my violin in a sleeping bag. I know it's a bit of a hassle for my mom because she drives me there and brings me back, you know, but I like playing with the KYO. I learn a lot and I've made some friends.
Bancroft is a small town. Actually, it's the Ontario's most talented town, you may have heard. And it's a little difficult for me because I live far away. The immediate sacrifice you make of driving, the money for gas, and the things you would have done if you didn't go, I think are very small compared to the benefits.
It's for the music. I mean, there's nothing else in Peterborough, and especially in some of these other Bancroft and Madoc, there's nothing else where you get the same musical experience, where you get the same level of musicality and professional musicianship from your conductor and from the rest of the group.
Why should they do it? Because it enriches your life. As simple as that. And you meet new people. You meet new people that do something similar to what you do. We want to share our experiences with other human beings.
I think we have a little bit too much social and a little too little musical some days, but we like to have fun, especially when we do our small sectional rehearsals with 4 or 5 musicians. We sit around and we laugh as much as we play.
I see them playing a piece for the first time, for example, Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, and I see that it's written on their faces how moved they are by this music. And even if they've heard a recording of it somewhere, that experience of producing that sound which is coming out of the instrument and doing it with their friends, with their colleagues, and getting that kind of a result is something that happens. And it's an experience that you take with you for the rest of your life. And so I'm observing this week after week, seeing this happen. I'm also seeing frustration on their faces, but it's this positive energy that's taking place, and that fulfills me, that gives me extra energy to go back to do what I'm doing during the week too.
A big part of it is that energy that is so intoxicating when they play. It becomes a part of the music, becomes a big part of the experience. Playing, being the part of the big group that creates such a cohesive music